Cashiers of Reddit, what products make you silently judge the persons who buy them? Had a teenage girl come in with several members of her family. They all came up to the counter practically in tears and bought a pregnancy test. She then went into our bathroom to take the test, which I thought was odd. Seems like the kind of thing you'd do in the sanctity of your own home. Then the girl comes out, bawling, and then her family starts bawling and they're making a huge scene in the middle of my store. It was super duper awkward. This is pretty sad. There could be a multitude of reasons for this test. I hope what led to it was just teenagers being stupid and not the poor girl being taken advantage of. The fact her whole family was there makes me believe the latter, unfortunately. Seems like a weird group activity. Surely one member could have ran in for the test. I'm picturing a large group of at least 8 people walking hand in hand and their eyes squirting out water like cartoon tears. When a guy buys feminine hygiene products and has to explain that it's for his girlfriend. Dude, nobody thinks you are buying tampons for yourself. Edit, I have learned many disturbing new uses for tampons, from alcoholic butt plugs to boner hiding apparatus. Yup. I wouldn't do it when I was younger, but when I hit my mid-20s, I realized how mucking stupid that was. Need some enemas and tampons and nail polish? I'll pick that shit up from the store for you. Just expect to get the wrong brands, or right brand wrong product, but I'll try to get it right. Once you realize you'll probably never talk to or meet 99% of the people you see ever again, it makes doing stuff like this a lot easier. Trans Sky here. The day I realized that's what people would assume was the case when I still had to buy the odd box after growing a beard, it was mucking magical. I mean, why would you assume otherwise, lol? The day before I got approved for testosterone I had to pick up a box. I was really awkward and anxiety out the ass cause it kinda screams this is a girl. I had a pretty high voice. No real way to hide it. This little old Chinese lady behind me was joking how I was such a sweet boy buying tampons for my girlfriend and how her son would never do that. She made me feel like $1,000,000. I still think about that lady some days. Ex-cashier of 5 years here. After a while you don't notice and it all becomes the same because you're so familiar with the items your store carries. Only time I have made an extreme judgment based on items purchased was when a man came in and purchased peanut butter, dog treats, condoms, lube and rope. Not even joking. Yeah, that's the condom game. You try to buy the stuff that'll freak out the cashier the most. I work in a bookstore. I've had people read with shame while they bought 50 Shades of Grey and make comments about how I must think they're idiots. Look, I don't give a shit what you buy. At least you're reading and keeping my store open. Do you also get the weekly old men who proudly slap down their porn mag on the counter? I used to work for Borders and those were always the nicest old men. No creepers. My wife asked me to buy this book for her before I knew what it was. I was already going to the bookstore to pick something up so I agreed. Picked the book up and got in line. While in line I was reading a bit of it and realized that this was the porno book everyone was talking about. Looked up for a second and people were staring at me. Didn't give a muck and bought it. Every time I buy lube, I always get this feeling that the cashier thinks I am buying it to have butt sex. Same feeling I get whenever I buy double-ended dildos. Simple solution. Just be like, I'm buying this to lubricate my penis while I jerk off. Little tip, we don't. We just want you to buy it and hurry up so we can help the next person in line. One of our customers buys anywhere from 25-32 bottles of laxatives a week. Every week and not the oral kind either. Maybe he cares for a giant family of surprisingly healthy heroin addicts. Now I wonder if those laxatives have some sort of secondary purpose, like unclogging sinks or being a really effective plant fertilizer or something. I didn't judge, but it's a great story. I saw a guy in the condom aisle looking absolutely baffled. I am a pharmacist and went to help, with an inward sigh. Some people have no idea how to use them. He said, I have no idea what I'm looking at. There are so many. I've been fixed for almost 20 years. But my boy's going to college, And I don't want him bringing STDs or any babies home with him. He got really excited when I told him about spermidicid and bought 5-6 dozen count boxes. That's a good dad. Okay, quick story. I have an ultra-conservative Asian mom, who never ever even mentioned sex, ever. When I got out of boot camp to my first duty station, everyone was getting care packages from home, cookies, civilian clothes, etc. I got one from my mom. It was about 100 condoms, assorted boxes, with a note, "Please be safe, and we will never talk about this package, love mom." I've been thinking that maybe when my kids are old enough, he'll put some condoms in a drawer somewhere and say that they are there and they can take them if they need them. I'll also do some other informative type stuff, but I figure this is a pretty good idea. Bracelets that harness the healing energy of magnets. Yeah, well, jokes on you. Blood has iron and is magnetic. I have the power of science and the Lord. But there's iron in my blood and in water and stuff, like when you put a magnet near a stream of water it bends, so magnets have a real effect on it. And now I just feel like I have so much more balance and energy. Really try it before you knock it. My shits have never been smoother. I only ever have no wipers and I win the lottery thrice a week just yesterday. Freshman year of high school. I was a cashier at a local grocery store. There was an upscale organic cupcake boutique in town that sold their cupcakes for about $4 each. It was ridiculous, but people still bought them. Anyway, the owner would come in every other week and buy about 20 boxes of Betty Crocker cupcake mix and frosting. She must have had like a 2000% rate of return on those things. Edit. The cupcake boutique has since gone out of business, and the lady was a bitchy soccer mom in her mid-30s, so I doubt she was the confession on here, but it's interesting to know how common this apparently is. Every week, this woman bought a shopping cart full of toilet paper. It wasn't my business to ask why, but was curious, how could anyone or any family use so much of it? One day, she said that she was glad it finally went on sale, because she donated most of it each week to the 2 homeless shelters in town. I thought that was so great. That took an unexpected nice turn. No, she was actually experiencing explosive diarrhea and needed to hide her embarrassment. I cashiered at Home Depot. Had a dude in his mid-20s pull up to my register with rope, duct tape, cleaning gloves, tarp, bleach, fibers, cookies, bucket, sponges. I rung him up. I didn't even notice what he purchased until he came back in. He just said, "Dude, I could be planning a murder and you didn't even care. What the muck? I just lost $20. Then he went to return everything except the cookies. True story. Edit. FFS. Yes, Home Depot sells cookies. They're like right next to all the chips and sodas. They're those 98-cent grandma cookies that come in packs of 2. Them bitches is straight fire. Real murderers use self-checkout. I got judged by a cashier once. I was working in a welding and fabrication facility at the time as a repair guy. Since I wasn't one of the welders, I would often get tasked with whatever needed doing. The particular job at the time required ultrasonic testing of bends made in some tubing to ensure proper wall thickness. We had 1 tube of ultrasound gel. Sure enough, the tube got knocked off the table and run over by a forklift. The job was very time critical and we need to do the ultrasounds now. A good substitute for ultrasonic gel is key. I grabbed a fistful of petty cash and rushed over to a nearby grocery store and grabbed every tube of key they had. I then ran up to the cashier, who then rang up tube after tube after tube. I was in such a rush that I really hadn't thought about the normal use of key. As she was looking at me oddly and silently ringing up my purchase, I said something like, "It has been crazy at work today." The look on her face was priceless. Halfway out of the parking lot I realized what happened. We all had a good laugh about it at work and I had the nickname of Key for a few days. I actually did laugh out loud at this. Smile. When parents with very overweight kids buy nothing but junk food. Do you judge people who are high and buy junk food? I worry sometimes. Also, Can you tell I'm high when I do it? This isn't exactly the same thing, but I used to work at AutoZone. One day a customer came in and asked if there were any deals on our strongest antifreeze. I asked him if he meant the lowest temperature rating and he said no, the one with the most ethylene glycol. I was really confused and asked him what he needed it for, and he told me it was because his neighbor's kids just got kittens and they were trespassing on his property. I excused myself and went back to my boss, the store manager, and told him, and he told me I had to make the sale. I had to sell him 4 gallons of antifreeze to kill some defenseless kittens and absolutely crush his neighbor's kids. I try to never say I hate anybody and I never wish harm on anybody, but yeah. The new stuff is embittered by law, though not in all places, so the cats would have likely not gotten into it anyway. When I moved into my new house, my neighbors came over and asked me if I had any problems with cats, because theirs are outdoor cats and occasionally sunbathe on my porch. Nope. Well, if you change your mind at any point, please let us know and we will keep them indoors. It is just, you know, some people take things into their own hands. I said my mother's childhood kitten was killed by a neighbor with a garden shovel. I so understand, don't worry. Crazy mucking people. My friend's cat died when I was little because of this same thing. What the muck is wrong with people? Should have reported him. He admitted intent to poison kittens. That's illegal. Not a cashier, but I worked in fulfillment for Amazon for 4 years. I can't tell you how many times I checked out the name on the label for a shipment of questionable combinations. Lube plus dildo plus baby Einstein video. 16 bottles of laxatives plus adult diapers. Anytime someone orders Thai hookers 101, what you must know about sex and prostitutes before coming to Thailand. TL, doctor, don't ever think that buying something online means that you escape the judgment of others. LOL, I have often thought about that. I shop for several family members via my Prime account. I like getting add-on items when I can and do not like having items coming in all week at random, so I try to group my purchases. I have ordered combinations such as cinnamon sticks, multi-pack condoms, mouthwash, birthday candles, tarps and hemorrhoid ointment. Now I know someone is looking at those orders and thinking, what the F? A Vietnamese lady came in a day after Valentine's Day to buy candy. She bought hundreds of bags. I made a joke about how the dentist bill must be insane, and she told me how she sends the candy to orphan homes in Vietnam because they don't have candy there apparently. Don't judge a book by its cover, guys. Edit, a few words. Edit 2, stop saying it's BS, the story is true, whether the lady lied or not. However, I don't know. But I'd like to believe that she is just a good person. I know a guy that purchases cases of water-based lube every other week to donate to homeless shelters. Every time me or my family go back to Vietnam, we always send over a bunch of American candy over because the kids love them. Reese's, Snickers, Skittles, they always enjoy them. We also always send over fruit like cherries, apples, and oranges because they use a lot of pesticides and stuff to make the fruits bigger. Basically, they enjoy anything American. I always donate my old clothes and stuff as well. Picture it. October 31st, 1974. My mom sends 11-year-old me to the store for a bag of apples. And my dad needs Gillette razor blades. The cashier looks at me like I just took a dump on her conveyor belt. Not a cashier, but I have a story. I got rectal cancer at age 28. I had my rectum removed. During recovery I became completely incontinent. So I had to start wearing Depends. Just for clarity, I'm a tall, skinny, relatively well-dressed young woman. The teenage boy checking me out at Walmart let out a quiet damn when he bagged them. Dude, it'd just assume your grandma sent you to the store. I've bought them a few times, and it was always for my grandma and I never even thought twice about it. I hate Depends, not anything against the product or people, but the damn things don't fit nicely into bags.